during the lifetime of Ronald Reagan, the political lifetime of Ronald Reagan, the two parties sorted themselves out, and I observe in the book that the center-right, the Reagan Republican Party, the conservative movement, is a movement of groups and individuals that are allied because on the issue that moves them to vote, the issue that moves them to politics, the reason they care, the reason they just don't sleep in all day and miss voting, is that on their key issue, what they want from the government is to be left alone. So if you were to go around the table and say, why are people Republicans or conservatives, you talk to the guy who votes on the tax issue and says, I want to be left alone on taxes, I want lower taxes. Doesn't mean every taxpayer is a Republican. There are a bunch of people who pay a lot in taxes. They don't vote on that. They vote on some other issue. They're not our team. Leave me alone on taxes. Businessmen and women who simply want to run their businesses, don't want to be regulated, taxed, litigated out of existence. There are businesses who want subsidies. They're on the other team. But the guys who are here because they just want to be left alone with their business lives, their professional lives, are part of the team. Second Amendment community. I'm on the board of the National Rifle Association. People who just want to be left alone with their guns and their Second Amendment rights. They don't find NRA members knocking on doors asking you to be a gun owner or a hunter. You don't find us insisting that fourth grade children be taught books in public school entitled Heather Has Two Hunters. We're not asking for other people's money or attention, just leave us alone. Homeschoolers, a perfect example of, a small sliver of the electorate, 1 or 2% growing, but a small group, but very powerfully motivated. These are people who turned down the government's kind offer to educate or at least babysit their children for 12 years and said no, one of the parents will stay home, sacrifice a second income, and spend a lot of time educating kids. And all they ask is to be left alone. They're not asking for homeschooling stamps. Again, they don't knock on your door and tell you to homeschool. They simply wish to be left alone. And then there are the various communities of faith, and this confuses the left and some on the right, because people for whom the most important thing in their life is practicing their faith, transmitting it to their children, and what they want from the government is to be left alone in this endeavor. They don't want the government throwing prophylactics at their kids in public school or making fun of their religion, which is why where religion used to divide people between political parties, now people, whether they're evangelical Protestants, conservative Catholics, Orthodox Jews, Muslims, or Mormons, if the most important thing in their life is practicing their faith and being left alone to do so, they have a home in the modern Republican Party, the center-right coalition. Again, around the table, people don't agree on how to get to heaven, but they do understand that if they want to be free to practice their faith, the fellow across the table who completely misunderstands Scripture and is going straight to Hades has to be free to make that mistake. And again, not everybody on our team has to deal with each other all the time. The guy who wants to go to church all day looks across the table at the guy who wants to make money all day, who looks across the table at the guy who wants to fondle his guns all day, and each one says, that's not how I'd spend my time. And it's true, it's not. But we can all vote for the same candidate in the middle of the table, who works around and says, I'm going to leave your guns alone, your kids alone, your faith alone, your business alone, your money alone. And the candidate for the party has to be good on all the issues.